We got Dirtbag Dan in the house today. He just retired from battle rapping. His very last battle aired today, I believe. So we got him right away. We didn't waste any time to get him on Skype and talk to him about the next moves that he's making and whatnot. So let's get into that right now. Thank you for joining us. Boom.
The Natural Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast. The Natural Habitat Podcast.
I'm going to engage this recording right here, and then, are you high?
Yep.
Cool. Welcome to the Natural Habitat Podcast, everybody. My name's Mikey Booyah.
My name's Unknown.
And today is a special day. Today is a week after the birthday of the release of my track, A Song About a Girl. You can find that on my SoundCloud, which is Natural Habitat Inc. And that track, I got a lot of backlash from it, from some supporters of, because I wrote it about an actual girl that actually got murdered in my area, and it like inspired this whole thing. And a lot of people were upset that I made the song, but I think that I did it in good taste. So I need your help. I need you to let me know if I should not have the song up or if I should keep it there because it is a piece of art. So go to soundcloud.com/naturalhabitat inc and let me know.
Yeah. Do that shit.
There it is.
Because Mikey makes music too, and y'all should be listening to that shit.
Y'all should listen to every song that anybody ever makes. I think that everybody should listen to everything and give everything one shot, because you don't know. You don't know if something's bad unless you listen to it. So that's what I do. I spend all day listening to independent artists.
I mean, if you have an affinity for music, if you love music in general, and genres are no boundaries, you know, then if you know somebody who makes music, why not listen? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't take much time. You don't have to like listen to their shit religiously just because you know them, but you should give them the benefit of the doubt and like actually listen to their shit and see how it sounds. You know, you never know. You never know. Some of your closest friends could make your favorite song. You never know. You might not have heard it yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to judge. There's a lot of hidden gems out there, and you might not have known because you didn't take the time to listen.
So stay vigilant and stay classy, San Diego, because I was looking through some independent music one day, and I stumbled across a gentleman by the name of Dirtbag Dan, who is a MC and battle rapper from San Jose, California. We actually have him on the line right now, on hold. We're gonna have him. We're just gonna let him marinate for a minute, and we're gonna let you guys know about him and who he is. He's done tours in 7 countries and has an extensive career in battle rap ever since the start of Grind Time, all the way up to King of the Dot, and has now started his own battle league, the Battle of the Zay. And I would say the most memorable part of Dirtbag Dan's career for me is his Dirtbag Dan LP cover with his bearded mouth on it. Have you seen this?
Yeah.
I don't know how many pictures I've seen from people all around the world holding this fucking bearded mouth up to their face. And it's a great marketing technique, you know what I mean?
Smart, super smart.
It was really smart. So we got him on the show. We reached out to him, and he does his own podcast, the Dirtbag Dan Show. So he knows the struggle of doing a podcast while under the influence of marijuana. And he decided that he would join us. So, you know, we're honored to have him here. And before we get into that, we are going to let you guys know that Joey is overly excited about Christmas, all right? We're in the throes of December right now. This is Joey's favorite time of year. He was blaring Christmas music before we started. It was just like, hear them sleigh bells ring-a-ling, ding, ding, ding-a-ling, bling. Just all throughout his house. There was different songs playing from different speakers. Tell us about it. Tell us about your joy that you're experiencing right now, Joey.
I'm just stoked that I made it another year.
That's really what it's all about.
It's like that is really what it's all about. It's like an achievement. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck, you made it. And when you're here, you got to feel good about it. You made it through. I mean, a lot of shit happens in a year. A year's not a very long time, and it feels like forever sometimes, but it goes by quick as fuck. And a lot of shit happens in that time frame, and it takes a lot of strength and a lot of something else sometimes, you know what I mean, to get by and to make it through.
A lot of drugs.
And we all,
what you're saying. A lot of
made
drugs?
it. Yeah. Well, that too. Yeah.
So
pat yourselves on the back. You know what I'm saying? Because we all made it.
That's right. We've passed. We've passed the time of being thankful, and now we're in the time of being grateful, which is Christmas time, and we're glad that we made it. We're glad that we have the little bit of family that we do have left that hasn't died this year, and
or disowned us or whatever.
Or died in quotes. So little Timmy, my little cousin Timmy, he's 7 years old. He went to school, right? And what he did was they were going for the Thanksgiving dinner or the Thanksgiving party thing that they have at school, and he went in blackface. Like brown Indian face, and it was just horrible and bad taste. I don't know why he did it. He did it upon himself. So I disown this little bastard, and he will not be spending Christmas anywhere near me. So sometimes you gotta cut him off. You know what I mean?
Poor Timmy. It's all right, buddy. You'll learn.
No, he won't. He probably won't. Hopefully he dies. So I say that we jump over and get this guy on the show and see what he has to say to the people.
I think I'm ready to smoke too.
Yeah?
He said he was going to smoke with us, so let's do it.
All right, cool. Let's join, or let's have Dirtbag Dan join us for an NHP smoke sesh and an interview that we did not record previously. We are recording it right now. All right, we have Dirtbag Dan on the line. Can you hear me, my friend?
Chia, yeah, what's up, guys?
Yo.
Thank you for joining us, sir. I hope that your Thanksgiving went well, that nobody died, and none of your family got trampled during the Black Friday mess.
No, yeah. We don't play that shit. We're from the Silicon Valley. Everybody is smart enough to shop online this year, I think.
Right?
All right.
So
that's supposed to be the purpose anyways. That's why Black Friday was created.
Yeah, oh yeah. I think that from what I was kind of seeing too, it was like a little less hectic this year than it was in previous years, because I think that more and more people are catching on to the fact that you don't need to go fucking run around with the rest of the sheep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No doubt.
And I'm glad that none of your friends or family died, because I would have felt bad for saying that. So
yeah, man. I mean, everybody made it through.
Good.
The holidays this time around.
Right.
She was crazy in some places. I don't get it. I don't understand what people's urgency is to go out there and act like an idiot.
You know what, man? I don't understand what people's urge is to post pictures of their Thanksgiving plate on Instagram, because we're all having turkey. We're all having stuff.
Everything's so similar.
He's like, what the fuck, man? And just see, it's like a smorgasbord of the same fall colors on everybody's plates. Right. And I'm like, this is great and all. I'm glad you're eating food today. Yeah. But shouts out to everybody who kept their holiday off the internet.
Right.
Damn
I
right.
didn't go out for Black Friday. I sat my ass here and caught up on that double XP weekend on Call of Duty.
Oh, me too, bro. the weapons XP.
Hell yeah. Around. Yeah. You're going to have to shoot me your gamer tag and we'll get down. Are you on the Xbox or the...
Yeah, Xbox One.
Yeah, me too. Dope.
Dude, my gamer tag is hilarious, honestly. It's DBD GTWC.
Nice.
So it's like grind time West Coast.
That's dope.
I think there's a 408 in there somewhere too. I'll have to look at that.
Yeah. Well, I'll definitely add you. We'll get down. We'll kill some motherfuckers.
Yeah, man.
So, for those that don't know too much about you, you are a battle rapper and an MC and a podcast host, and I'm sure many other things. So why don't you walk us through it and tell us like how you got started and like all that?
So I guess, I mean, like I grew up skateboarding, and my brother's actually like a pro skater. And a lot of the friends that we grew up with were fortunate enough to come up at a time in San Jose when like the people who skateboarded when nobody skateboarded pretty much like, and the ones that stuck with it pretty much all became pro, and we worked at skate shops, and you know what I mean? Like
That's
it was
dope.
always like in that kind of atmosphere. But I kind of, as good as I was at any of that shit, I always felt like I had to try way harder than everybody else.
Right.
And I don't know, I think like 14, I kind of picked up rapping, just getting high and, you know, like talking shit basically. And it was actually me and Skylar G, the other dude from the podcast. We were 14, just like rapping verses back and forth about dumb shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Just like whatever absurd shit you rap about when you're a 13-year-old. And so once I realized that I could kind of do that good, I stuck with it hardcore because I felt like this was something that I didn't have to try hella hard at, and then I was just kind of like naturally better than the people that were around me. And that was like a big change from all the skateboarding shit, because I always felt like I could do it, but I just had to push myself extra harder, and it took me twice as long, you know what I mean? And
some people are just like natural at that shit, and I feel like those two have always really gone together also, because a lot of us grew up skating too, and some of my friends were just fucking phenoms, and some of us other kids were just average, you know what I mean? And then the hip hop shit kind of like went along with it, because it was all like a form of like rebellion as a kid growing up, I guess.
And I think what's cool about the skateboarding shit is I'm sure this is like universal, even though like we would go out. Like I remember specifically one day we went to San Francisco and we were just like hopping fences and hitting handrails, running all around the city. And it was Caswell Barry was with us, who's like a good friend of mine from when we were kids, and guy rides for Enjoy skateboards, really just an amazing skateboarder. And he's doing like fucking tray flip board slides on this 7-stair handrail, and I'm doing lip slides, and that's like the gnarliest shit I ever did on it.
Right.
But they're like going just as nuts for me doing that as they are for him.
Yeah, it's love. It's really love.
But everybody's like, it's you're on your own scale. You know what I mean? Like no one's like measuring you against like the next dude or what else was done. It's just like because everybody was out there pushing themselves like one step further every single day. And the more you were around people like that were like, you know, amazing effortlessly, the more that you would, you know, kill yourself to try and get there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I still skateboard to this day, and I still keep in contact with a lot of those cats, but it's definitely like there was a turn when I was like 14 years old where I was like, oh, I'm going to fucking rap because I could do this shit.
Yeah.
And it's interesting
way
that I
better
could
at
do
this.
it. I looked like a fucking weird, you know, I was like a little skateboard kid, long hair, Metallica shirt on, and I would show up to battles and fucking just murk people because they were not ready. You know?
Yeah, they were just sleeping on you. They had no idea.
And it's
I came up through the freestyle battle shit, and then eventually in 2008, Lush kind of brought grind time to the Bay Area, and then we all hopped on, you know.
See, that's
Super smart, man. So
that's what I was gonna ask is, you know, you started freestyling and stuff, and then did you kind of move more towards the battle scene at first, or more towards, you know, creating your own music? Because I think that you, more than any other battle rapper that I've seen, does a good job of staying one foot in both worlds. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the music thing came first for sure. And realistically, the battle thing came first always, because when I was a kid, I'm 32 now, so there was no like Pro Tools or anything like that. Like you either went and recorded in a studio with like a legit reel-to-reel, or
you didn't.
You didn't record at all, you know? So
right.
you would just go to open mics and you would go to ciphers and they would turn into battles, or you would enter battles. So we did that a lot. Like we entered all sorts of battle events, and that's how I met, you know, Thesaurus and Ilmac and everybody, you know, from freestyle battling pretty much.
That's sick.
And we've known each other shit. Like me and Pete, for instance, have known each other for well over a decade, you know, just doing this shit, you know, like even before the acapella shit. But in general, like there was a point where I was like, I can't battle anymore because no one will take my music seriously. So I just completely like stopped battling. No more freestyle battles. I'm not doing it. Plus they were all like, it got awkward, and it would be a letdown at times because you would kill it and then they would give it to some other fucking dude, or you know what I mean? Like it's just, there's too many variables in that world. So it was easy to walk away from.
Well, that's cool that you kind of like always kept to both, and like always had like a good head on your shoulders and knew what you wanted to do. It seems like a lot of people don't really know what to do. Like they'll get comfortable in that battle element, and then will get to a certain level where they're like at the top of their career, and then can't make the transition because they don't want to like let people down or just not be as good as they think they are, or whatever the scenario is. You know, you could see like a lot of people like contemplate it like Disaster almost, you know what I mean? Like nobody really hears music from Disaster, but
well, I think that's another thing that's important to take into account when it comes to that shit is that like, so I stopped, you know, at one point I stopped battling and I just focused on making music, and that's all we did. And we put out, I was in a crew called Thunder Hut with XI and Joe Cutter and a bunch of other cats that are kind of still around today. And then I was in Counterproductive, which was myself and Able Abilities and Skylar and our DJ Itchy the Killer. Yeah. And we made albums, you know. Over 4 years, we, you know, put out over 100 songs, you know, on 3 or 4 different albums, solo albums for me, solo albums for Able, crew, 2 or 3 crew albums, you know. So like I spent hella time recording music, and then the, you know, Madness came to town basically, and he was going to battle Thesaurus at this, you know, first Grind Time event, and that kind of like changed the whole direction of where everybody was going. But I spent hella time recording music. The thing about Disaster is that he spent all of his time learning to be the best battle rapper in the world. You know what I mean? And that's why he is where he's at. You know what I mean? It's hard to expect somebody who hasn't spent that time in the studio to be able to be confident in their shit. Because realistically, it took me 100 songs before I knew how I wanted to sound.
I get it. You know, I totally understand. That's why I feel like, you know, you're smart for doing it, because you understand the relevance and importance. You know, like you can't battle forever. You know what I mean? So that's why I would love to see, personally, I've met Disaster over at Skis down here in LA, and with a mutual friend or whatever, and he seems like legit. He's smart, he's got a good head on his shoulders, and he wants to make music. I think it would be cool to just see like the right team swoop him up, you know, like somebody who knows what they're doing and like help him get it out there.
Yeah, it's like I would say that I totally agree, but then also like really knowing dude extra well and considering him a friend, I would say easier said than done.
Right.
He is he is a bull in a china shop, and the life is the china shop. He's just like, just going nuts. He's on 10, 100% of the time. Like he wakes up and he's fucking on 10 and just running around, and whatever's like front of him is going to get demolished. You know what I mean? But it's really hard. Like I could see it being extremely hard to put the tasks in front of him and then have him knock them down in like the order or way that you wanted it to be done. Like Disaster is going to do whatever the fuck Disaster wants to do. And I think that's what really makes him such a entertaining character. And that's why he's obviously like one of the top, you know, 5, 10 most, you know, watched dudes in battle rap, is because he's fucking insane. Well, and very few people are like the same in the ring as out of the ring, and I think Disaster is one of the rare people that is just that person all the time.
I was watching you this morning, and I feel like you are definitely really similar. You know what I mean? You like I try to not same command about your presence. You know what I mean? Like you're definitely in the same realm for sure.
I'm trying to not be a different person in the battles than I am in real life, and I think that it took a long time even for that. Like, cause I've been married forever, but I had a lot of like in the beginning of my battle career, I had a lot of like your bitch, your girlfriend, your mom lines, which just over time like kind of phased themselves out because it became less relevant to in like who I was and what, you know, the narrative that I was putting out there was, you know what I mean, as far as like my character, you know. And it's easier to try and be legit about it because then you don't have to fucking think too hard about what you're doing,
right?
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's a bitch when you're like on some double life shit and you're trying to be a different person in the ring than you are in real life, because then you got to really like check yourself when you're at events. And
I don't think the average everyday person really understands like the levels to this shit, because It's the same way with people's music careers, you know what I mean? Or acting careers or whatever it is. Everybody has this ulterior persona that they're trying to portray to the outside world while trying to keep a piece of privacy to themselves that nobody else really gets to have, you know what I mean? And it's like, it definitely is a hard balance, and I see like what you're talking about, and it's cool to see that you're so open about everything, and like, you know, like you're very driven and have like a smart head on your shoulders, you know. I used to live in San Jose too. It's fucking dope up there, and there is a lot of talent up there too.
It's a trip. San Jose is a strange city because I think it's so young and it doesn't have any, like it doesn't have a lot of culture. It doesn't have a lot of history, especially surrounded by cities like Oakland and San Francisco, where there's so much history and there's so much culture. I mean, I'm 32 and I drive around my city and I go, that used to be an orchard. That used to be an orchard. You know what I mean? Like, it's
crazy. Yeah,
it's way different now.
Your short life too, you know what I mean? Like 32 really ain't shit. I'm 31, you know what I mean? And I heard all the same stories, like from my uncles and everybody that lives out there too, about like, oh yeah, this used to be country and this used to be that, or whatever. And I think that's a gift though, you know, the fact that San Jose, the culture is so young up there that you get to be a fucking OG in the scene, you know what I'm saying? And you get to
that's
help
for real.
Curate the culture.
That's for real, because I think that I recognized that was the thing that I really like tied on to with this battle rap shit the second time around. After, like, the first battle I did was against a dude named the Coroner. It was set up like a day or two before, and I didn't really understand that you could write. Like, I didn't get it, you know what I mean? So I did it, and I think that people like that battle. It has some kind of like nostalgia to it, especially since it's not only is it my first battle, but it's also the first Grind Time West Coast battle ever.
Sick.
Because that was the first battle that happened on that card.
That's super prestigious to be a part of something, to be a part of some humble beginnings like that, you know?
Yeah, it was cool to be there. I mean, and I don't think any of us in that ballroom that day like really realized that we were all like changing our lives. Like nobody's lives were the same after that.
It's amazing, dude.
And then I got the FLO battle and I learned. I was like, oh shit, you can write. And that's when I really got it. I was like, okay, this is how I'm going to sell my music. And dude Grunge I was in the crew Thunder Hut with, he would like judge the battles, and it was the worst because he's like my crew, but he would judge me extra hard because he'd be like, I seen you do better on, you know what I mean? So it was always rough to have him as a judge because he held me to like a higher standard. But he used to say the Zay. That's where I heard that from. And just in the beginning of the FLO battle, for whatever reason, I was like, the Zay, baby, rah. And then I was like, okay, that's what I'm saying now. You know what I mean? Like, it's totally reflex. I didn't think about it at all. Right. I was just like, they were like, tell them who you are. And I didn't say my name. I said my city instead. And I realized that nobody else was doing that in San Jose. That there wasn't a single other artist or entity in entertainment, sports, or anything that was like, I'm from this city. This is the fucking city that I rep.
And no matter how much they want to admit it or not, every city yearns for that. You know what I'm saying? Every city looks for that one person that they could actually hold up and like be proud of, you know? And a lot more often than not, it doesn't happen because nobody's usually up to the challenge. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of people that actually have that talent to par as far as like industry quality artists or like battle circuit dudes like you or whatever the scenario is. You know what I'm saying? It's like people, if cities want that somebody that they can like hold up, I guess, you know?
Well, it's like you were saying too with the like, I kind of lucked out with San Jose being so young like that because I got to be that OG. Because where else? San Jose is the 10th largest city in America.
Yeah, it's
the third largest city in California behind LA and San Diego. So it's huge. Over 1 million people live here. Yeah. So like, where else in the fucking world could I have came up where 1 million people live but nobody was repping?
Yeah, you know what I mean? You just had a clean slate.
That's so rare. Yeah, exactly.
That's dope.
Super dope,
and you more than anyone are out there. You're repping the Zay, and I mean, not even just because you're from San Jose, you're repping your town. I think harder than a lot of other people. Before every battle, you make sure that it's known where you're coming from, where you're repping, and you know you're gonna get the whole city behind you that way. You already have them, so I think it's definitely a smart move to show love for where you are and the people that are going to help put you on, you know? So you were talking about the first Grind Time battle, and shortly before that, you had a battle in Scribble Jam. Is that correct?
Yeah, against Reverse Live.
Yeah. I used to watch Scribble Jams and Blaze battles when I was a kid. I really liked Idea and shit, so...
Oh, yeah, amazing.
What was...
Inspiration to all of us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Rest in peace. So,
yeah.
What was that? Was that your first battle that was actually recorded and put out?
No. There's a couple older ones than that on the internet if you really search. There's one from a car show that's like 2004, and it's me and Aruka Saki, who is a guy from out here in San Francisco, who was he had a decent name in the freestyle days. And there was a competition called the Freestyle Olympics that they never put online, but they had 3 different ones, and I won one of them. And it was battling. And then you had there was like a tempo round and a topics round, props, shit like that. And like I was, in an ordinary battle competition, I would run into Thesaurus, and I was fucking done. There's just no way to beat him. You know what I mean? Like in that world, he was the fucking best. And it was just like there were these dudes, him being one of them, that you couldn't beat. It didn't fucking matter. And then when the written shit came about, I was like, oh, dude, I could beat these guys. Like in this world.
Yeah, that really changed everything, right?
Yeah, totally. 100%. Because like that, like I always, No Can Do to me was always one of those dudes. He was always like, I run into James and it's over. But in when the written shit came about and when it was me and him in that realm, I was like, okay, no, I can actually go with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that it's smart, and I think that it's cool that all you guys are like evolving with it. You know what I'm saying? As it's happening, and I think that it needed to happen because you could only go so far before, and now people get to create these fucking new personas and characters that we've never seen before. And I was just saying to Mikey before the episode that I thought these themed battles were so fucking smart. And I feel like maybe that there's a future in that, and just themed in general, like your guys' Halloween ones and shit. Oh, they're so
Jesus
funny. Yeah,
it was a great idea on Disaster's part, and I think that there wasn't like not nearly the kind of planning and effort that goes into throwing a normal event went into that, and still, like, it still worked because enough of us were invested in it, like just in the idea. You know what I mean? I think it was
so comical. I think it was very ingenious. I think that if you guys did more stuff like that, you would catch a lot more attention. There's so many things out there that people are such crazy fanatics of. Star Wars, fucking you name it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you guys kept doing some theme shit, I think it would really catch on and be like something new and refreshing. I think it's cool. It was really cool for me to see because it wasn't as serious. There wasn't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't just personal attacks and the same shit that we hear over and over.
Sometimes it's nice to get away from that shit.
Exactly. And I thought it was really funny that you guys did like the normal thing for a battle. You like, it was like you were doing research, but you were doing it for the characters instead of the persons, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And that was the point too, was that it wasn't my battle, that was
Jesus and the Devil's battle, right? Yeah, and that's fucking awesome, dude. It's super smart.
I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I announced the week before that DNA would be my last battle.
Oh no. Really? We didn't know. That's crazy.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? I think I don't know if it'll be in the actual cut version, and I'm assuming it won't be, but on the pay-per-view, they let me kind of say goodbye at home, and it was dope because it was, it was San Jose. I was battling DNA.
That was a really good battle too.
Yeah. It was a great way for me. It was like a no-brainer as far as like
views,
the foot to exit on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to be one of these guys who kind of just got worse or got less interesting or whatever, and I felt like that I had, definitely my own fault. I kind of made folks forget that I was a factor in this shit, that I could really fuck somebody up if I needed to or if I wanted to.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was going out there just to get a paycheck for so long and just to be in another country, you know, and just to be pushing my music and shit, that I really lost the competitive edge that you need to be successful in that world.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I got to get out. But I knew I couldn't go out on the battles that I had up to that point. And I wasn't like ashamed of like the 2-on-2 we did with Shuffle T and Marlo, me and Caustic. I thought that was great.
Right.
But that's not, you can't go out like that.
And the fact that you didn't want to go out with like an easy win or anything either. Like you brought somebody big out, and you know what I mean? And people respect that. You know, people definitely respect your choice and who you picked to battle and shit too.
Well, much love to King of the Dot. I mean, they really have held me down more than any of the other battle leagues, as far as like you know, always working with me and helping me to try and, you know, further my brand. Whether it was like back in the days, like I would, you know, attach like the sales of a couple hundred albums to like a battle I did with them, and then they were promoting my music as well, as, you know what I mean? Like they were always willing to work with me on shit like that. And then when it came down to it, we've been having success with these events in San Jose, and they had no base for battles in the Bay Area, so it just became logical. That was like, oh yeah, we'll do them in San Jose. And that's the thing is that like now that I'm not going to be the guy that's in the ring,
you're starting.
I'm going to be doing.
You're starting your own thing, right? The Battle of the Zay, correct?
Yeah. And we're up to our 5th event, and you know, I feel like we've really like found our niche as far as like what we bring to the world of battle rap. We're definitely like the AAs. We're definitely like trying to put people onto King of the Dot GZ cards and onto you know, URL PG cards, hopefully. And we definitely want to like be bridging that gap as opposed to like taking battles that should have happened on the main stage or on King of the Dot. You know what I mean? Like, and then the thing that we do, I think that we've established firmly that is ours is the Royal Rumbles, and we're doing another Royal Rumble.
Sick. That's something new.
The first Rumble we did, I was in, and it was great, and it was a lot of fun. And that was actually I've battled at every Battle of the Zay. So this next one that's coming up January 9th is the first one that I'm not on the card, but Caustic is on the card, which for the first time, which is great. So.
Well, I think that on that note, this is a perfect time to segue into an NHP smoke sesh. We do this on every episode, and we're honored to have you join us this time.
Hell yeah, bro! I got some super fancy cookie wreck shatter.
Ooh, dope. Fuck
and my vaped vaporizers mini nectar collector, which I just find to be the most portable dabbing situation on the planet Earth.
Dope. I'm smoking on some key lime pie.
I like that little plug.
Ooh. Yeah. See, that's the other thing too. It's like that's my one contribution to battle rap. That's like the most unsung thing. Is I was the first person, and I'm assuming this based on, you know, no research, but I have to be right.
Yeah,
that's kind of like how we do it.
Yeah, there you go. It's the Dirtbag Dan show way.
Yep.
I don't think that anybody was repping any outside sponsors before I did. I think I was the first person to be in any acapella battle and shout out personal sponsors, like on some NASCAR shit. I think it was Clout and Breezy. It was like that. That became part of my like script, you know. It was like the Zay baby raw, and I'd be like Dirtbag Dan, Clout Magazine, Breezy Excursion, I see you. You know what I mean? Like that just became things that I said like in that, you know.
And that's really smart because you're pushing your line. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever you got going on that's making you money, you're pushing that shit, and everybody out there is just like hearing it subliminally and like automatically supporting it because they support you, type of thing.
I think Vaped has been definitely like stoked on how much they've seen from like our fans as far as like them actually like buying products and commenting on the shit. So.
That's dope. Well, what's their website? Rattle it off.
ruvaped.com, like the letter R, the letter U, and then vaped, VAPED.com. That's Vaped Vaporizers, and I think personally they've always had the best BHO like vapor pens ever. You know what I mean? I think that I think PAX still has the edge with the flower vapes, but I think the flower vapes, they just technologically aren't there yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's the handheld ones. I mean, obviously the Volcano works, but you can't be fucking bringing the Volcano in your car
everywhere you go.
Yeah, the handheld ones.
I'm
just
getting the
don't
nail
do
it.
All right.
All right. Well,
so
we're lighting up. Everybody out there, hope you're lighting up. Flick your bics and snap your pics and hashtag NHP Smoke Sesh and smoke this one for Dirtbag Dan.
Yee! All right. Bone rips. Oh yeah.
first met. There it is. Do you remember? I remember the time we first met, Dirtbag Dan, and that was that was the Hunger Pains tour, I believe. Was that?
Man, that was a great little run for me, and it's stoked that I have longtime friends like Kung Fu Vampire who have such like a strong fan base and touring situation throughout the country.
Crazy, right?
Because I've been around the world a few times, and there were hadn't been, and we did we like 18 states on that tour, and 30 dates, 34 dates or something like that over the course of 30 days. So it was really it was routed amazing. And I got to play music, and that's what I did. I didn't battle. I just played music the whole time, and it was fucking great.
So is this what you're doing now? Like, is this your full-time gig now? You're doing music and then hosting your new battle circuit?
I would say my full-time gig now is definitely like the focus has shifted for me as far as the podcast and the YouTube channel in general being
right,
the most viable source of income for me right now, as well as I think the best way for me to be able to constantly communicate with my audience and bring them something new every week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really hard to do that with music, really hard to do that with battles, but with the podcast, it's easy.
I feel you, and we're kind of like on the same trip right now. It's like we finally just got to a point where we are constantly having people come on the show, and it's really like changing a lot of people's outlooks, because we have people that come on from a lot of different plights in life, you know what I mean? And people like have different pieces of information and little gems of value that they drop on people, and people learn new shit all the time. I think it's such a good gig doing podcasts, because it allows people a new way to like get to know you, the person,
For
more
sure.
say than the artist. You know what I mean? Because you're so limited being an artist, no matter what it is, whether it's battling or music or acting or comedy or whatever. It's all the same. You know what I mean? They only get to see one aspect of like what your overall self-image is. And when you have lines that you push, like you got partners with like people where you're selling your products, or like, you know what I mean, or you have like causes that you want to support, or like, you know what I mean, the podcast really like changes the whole game.
I think for me, like just as an artist, I noticed a lot that fans just had so much more of an attachment to what we were doing after the podcast.
That's
and
dope.
they knew me in a way that I didn't think was possible, or wasn't possible through music. It wasn't possible through the battles. And I definitely, Hunger Pains Tour is a great example where I would have people, some nights I would, as many people knew who I was as the headliners on the tour, but they didn't know what the fuck they were going to see from me. You know what I mean? And people would be like, man, I thought you were going to be a dick. you know, because they just see me in this, you know, and I'm generally like a nice person. I'm a happy person. I'm a fan of having fans. So I'm definitely not like,
that's awesome.
I try to be as, you know, accommodating to strangers in that regard as possible. But I realized that like these cats knew me in a crazy way. They'd listened to me talk for, you know, 74 episodes and 2 hours here, an hour there, a special here, a special there.
Yeah, it's weird.
We're getting to the point where it's, you know, hundreds of hours of their lives, you know, days they've spent with me, listening to me talk crazy shit about, and because I don't like really, you know, put the filter on myself on the podcast, and I've definitely been, you know, I've lost friends for that.
Yeah,
for
most
that
definitely.
thing.
Yeah,
but it's like
I've gotten some angry
that's
phone
how
calls.
I am as a person, honestly. I've always been that way. I've always been the type of person who's you know, shoot first, ask questions later.
Yeah,
no doubt. Well, you're raised in it, you know, the battle scene does that.
I feel like the skateboarding and growing up with my brother was 4 years older than me. All his friends were my friends.
Yeah.
I had one friend that was my age, and I was the weakest for sure of I had to be able to, you know, defend myself, and I just learned to be witty, quick,
right?
And that's I think that more than anything, because I look at the like I kick it with rappers sometimes, like both battle rappers, regular rappers, whatever, and like it's weird, like the way we act, the way me and my friends act, and the people that get along with us, the people that do well with our group, we're fucking sharks, man. It's like a fucking mental shark tank. And if you like step in the shark tank with your minnow mentality, you're gonna get fucking just chomped on.
It's awesome.
And we do, like, there's definitely battle rappers who just get picked on by like me, Thesaurus, and Madness, because we're just like, we can't help ourselves.
Right.
We're just like, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
I've definitely had fools be like, hey, chill out. Like, fucking stop. You know, like, there's no need for you to be making fun of me this way right now. We're not battling.
We're
like,
just kicking it, bro. Come on, stop being a dick. All right? You're hurting my feelings.
Yeah, man.
Battle rappers got feelings too.
And I think that it definitely, like, it's fair to say, and my wife would probably concur, that battle rapping has, in a way, made me a worse person. As far as the things that I think about people immediately,
right.
You know what I
job,
mean? Like,
though, you know what I mean?
You're
Like,
constantly picking people apart.
not anymore, man.
No,
right.
not anymore. So,
it's, what I've been doing, what I was getting to earlier is that, you know, so I'm going to be doing the podcast and I'm going to be doing the channel thing tough, but also for the last like 9 months or so, I've been doing stand-up comedy. That's kind of been my my kind of new inspiration or whatever thing that I always like to put a fucking goal in front of me that's, you know, like seemingly unattainable, and then, you know, it keeps me fresh or whatever. And I feel like with the battling shit, it just got too formulaic, and I understood the game too well, and, you know, like I also knew like the limitations involved in it, right. And I realized that by sticking around, I was only going to tarnish my brand. You know what I mean? And I didn't I didn't retire because if somebody calls me and the money's right, I'll be back in the ring. But I'm putting the price so high now that, you know, it's most likely no one's going to pay me unless I remain relevant for another 5 years. You know what I mean? And then I become like some crazy, you know, addition to a huge card later. You know?
Some unattainable battle rapper.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knows better than you what's best for you. So I'm sure.
I
mean,
sure
that you know you're making the right moves. You know what I mean?
Dude. I haven't had a huge backlash from fans saying, "Oh, please don't quit." Like, I've heard it here and there, but I think you know, I'm like Chuck Liddell. like nobody cried when Chuck Liddell left.
Yep. Now you're gonna be doing Durlast commercials one day.
Yeah, fucking A, whatever. I'm with that shit. But I'm just saying, like that whole, like, when he left, he had started to get, like, he got knocked out once, and then it became the thing where, you hit him on his button and he's done. And he went out with a bang too. He went out on top. He didn't get too beat up, you know what I mean? But when he quit, you didn't hear a lot of people like, no, I can't believe he's quitting. It's because he had a great career and he was done. You know, I think that's where I'm at. See, I feel like I had a great career.
I think you've had a great career. I'm not sure about you being done yet, but I think that what it is for you is that you have so many different things to offer as entertainment. You know what I mean? Like, people are constantly looking for an escape, whether it be music or movies or TV or comedy or podcasts, and you have so many different things to offer that if you're going to stop battling, people are like, okay, that's fine. I'll just catch you here or here or here. You know, it's not like you're just going to disappear and stop working.
I've heard that people have even said to us before, like, I've heard two things that I'm amazed by, but I'm also stoked on every time I hear. One is that I watch your show. Your show is the best thing you do. You know, like, your music's great, battles are great, but the show is significantly the thing that I'm entertained by the most.
And you're like,
and then the
I'm
other
just
thing that I hear,
high.
Yeah, it's I feel like there's that kind of like, there's like the communion aspect to it, or the community aspect to it, where people are like, if you're a part of our 5,000 to 10,000 people who watch weekly, then you're a cool person. You're up on some shit that other people might not be, and they like it a lot enough to be like, to rock with us heavy, like to bug us when we don't drop new episodes. And so it's definitely like a part of some folks' lives, their work weeks, and we that's dope. The other thing I hear that is always crazy to me is I don't really watch battles anymore, but I still watch the podcast, and that trips me out. You know what I mean? Because we're a battle podcast, but I guess that I get it, you outgrow shit, and battling, especially the way some people like it, the way fans are in battle rap. Like, I could be positive all day about battle rap and all the great things that it's done for me, and I'm definitely like, I wouldn't change a thing as far as the direction I went. And I don't know what the fuck I would have done if I didn't get into the battles. But at the same time, it's like, outside of the podcast, outside of those core fans that really know who I am on a crazy different level, the casual battle fans are the worst fucking kind of people on the planet of Earth. And they're fucking terrible, and they berate you, and they create troll accounts to harass you, and they say things about your family and your friends that have died in order to upset you or get a reaction out of you. Just weird, just insane shit that I never dealt with from music. You know what I mean? Like, there was no kind of backlash like that from being involved in anything but battle rap.
Right.
Battle rap just brings this weird kind of like angry, juvenile,
anything goes,
self-hating, hiding behind a wall of ones and zeros, like just being a dick, and then you really can't, like, it's unlike anything else. And I think that a prime example of it, and the worst example of it, is that URL has recently been dropping music videos on their channel. Their channel has over 500,000 subscribers. The music videos that get dropped from their channel are lucky to get between 50, 80, sometimes 100,000 views. That's it. They cap. Battles from the same battler, like on the same, like within the same, like music video here, T-top, and then another, two things down is a battle. The music video's got 40,000 views. The battle's got 580,000 views.
Right, well, that's what they don't understand, is the people that are going there now looking for music, those are not those type of fans. The people that want to see your music video go to music video channel.
Yeah, man. And that's why, like, the people that we've, like, the most valuable thing that I've done in the last few years as far as battle rap goes was use the podcast to develop a fan base that I know is genuinely down for me and knows what I'm trying to do and gets it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that has to feel the best, to know that people like the realest form of your shit. And like, it doesn't get any realer than what you do on a podcast, because you're actually being real all the time. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, that's got to be a cool feeling to know that people really fuck with you.
Yeah, I feel like the battle shit is very taxing on you mentally too. Like it could be rough to deal with, you know what I mean? Like the energy and time that it takes, and then like the kind of mind frame that you have to put yourself into. And I think that part of me, like doing it so long and like coping with it was like just removing that aspect of it to where it was like a do or die thing for me. Because in the beginning it hella was, you know what I mean? And I would be like jet lagged and fucking, you know, fatigued and hurt or hungry or just whatever. And I would go do a battle, and I would be like fucking in the ring. Something would turn on, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that shit faded. Like once I lost that kind of like competitive edge, then I didn't get that. Like I didn't go into blank out mode and just kill it. You know what I mean? I went into blank out mode and just blanked out. You know what I mean? And that's when I knew that I really had to start thinking about what else I wanted to do, you know? And fortunately I had enough time. And, like I said, King of the Dot, like doing the pay-per-view thing too, because I think with the hardcore fans, like even the ones that weren't down for the podcast initially, I think I pulled a lot of people over from the pay-per-views because I'm there for, you know, 8 hours in between every battle talking about what happened, you know what I mean? And interviewing people, and, they get to see exactly what we do on the podcast, but in a live setting, you know what I mean? Which I think adds an extra air of like suspense and makes it that much more impressive, because I could really fucking do this shit. Like I could just bullshit forever.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
We could too. We get it.
Yeah, that part is like that. It's just gave me the platform, and King of the Dot has gave me the platform.
That's awesome.
And that's something I'm going to continue to do as well, you know? So I'm really still going to be involved in the battle rap shit. But I'm working on a project with the homie Liam from Don't Flop, Body Bagnall, as they call him. He's the guy who does all the filming and editing, or you know, like the chief guy for Don't Flop, the English league. We did a little documentary. I don't know if you've seen it, with the Magic Truffle battle. Did you see that shit?
Yeah, I was watching that today.
Yeah. Okay. So that documentary, not the battle, but the documentary, which actually got like 250,000 views. It fully did its little viral thing, and it did everything we expected it to do, and we were super impressed by that. You know what I mean? It's really love it when a plan comes together. You know?
Fuck yeah.
But and I knew that it would work either way, because I can handle my shit, and even if I melted, it would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
But he on the strength of that, he's been able to land some pretty cool gigs, and he really has been like super receptive as to my ideas, and like he's like went in and pitched, you know, to fucking major players like shit that I just throw at him. Like it's crazy. Like it's cool to have relationships like that with people like that who are that talented, because they're out building on their own shit, and then they realize like what kind of a piece you could bring to the table, and they just throw you in on their plans. You know what I mean? Yeah. Roan is, you know, he's always making some moves, and he's like, hey, I talked to this person about you, or I talked to that person about you. It's dope. Like that. That's what I'm always trying to be like, that integral part of the shit. And I realize too that like there's only so many battlers on the planet, and that with so much skill, it's like, could I really be that top 20 guy in the ring anymore, or fucking forever? Probably not. But I definitely, like, as an announcer, as someone who has like a genuine perspective on this shit, still have a lot of value, you know?
Yeah, most absolutely. Definitely. And that's the same thing that happens in all sports. You know what I mean? It's like, it's expected now. Why not be in battle rap too? You know what I mean? All the affiliates, it's gotta keep growing and evolving to a point. So now, you know, you guys are gonna grow with it, within it and outside, and you know what I mean? It's cool to see. It's cool for us to watch, because we're the fans. You know what I mean? You guys are making it happen, but we just are watching from an outsider's perspective, and it's cool for us to see like the evolution of everything as it's taking place. So
kind of like in the same vein of that shit, basically, we're doing a little mini documentary about me doing stand-up comedy. So we're gonna have, we're gonna follow me around to the open mics, like the real grind of it. And I'm out here like hitting 10 mics a week.
Damn.
In 6 different cities.
That's
fucking dope. Driving around, not making money off this shit right now. You know what I mean? Like it's
just having fun.
180, and I'm like fucking doing comedy in front of nobody on Tuesday night at a fucking shitty bar in like
a bunch of people
that
don't know King of the Dot or Battles or Dirtbag Dan. They just think you're some bearded fuck up there telling jokes.
Yeah.
And so I give you like so much props for that, dude, because it takes a lot to jump into a new world like that. And I'm sure that you've enjoyed comedy for a long time, otherwise you wouldn't be doing it. But I'm like I've been thinking about the same thing, and I think podcasts are a good transition to comedy. Because it helps you kind of work stuff
really
out.
Just figure out what the funny stories are, and then you just turn them into jokes, turn them into punchlines. That's what I'm like doing now. Is like I went through my whole life like punchlines were punchlines. I had to rap and rhyme and have intricate multis and double meanings and all this shit. And now it's just like I have to re-examine the whole way I think about jokes and punchlines, and then also go back through my life and all these crazy stories and all this crazy shit that I've been through and figure out which shit really just transfers perfectly to a joke,
Yeah. Well, it's going to be
super smart, man.
It's going to be good to watch that, watch you evolve in comedy as well. So, good luck.
Cool too, because you'll get to see the grind of it. And that's what I was kind of like saying, is that it's like, much like with the battle shit, where it was like we all grew up on camera like the fucking Truman Show. Like this shit is like, with the comedy is like, I'm throwing myself to the wolves. I'm gonna be out in London like doing like fucking major like comedy store like gong show shit, to where like they'll just fucking boo me off stage if I'm bad. You know what I mean? Like, and it's another one of those situations where the reality is that even if I fail, that project is going to be entertaining.
Yeah, and just the fact that you're doing it, you know what I mean? Just doing it is what makes you better at it, That
was the thing with the mushrooms or the truffles. It was like, win, lose, or draw, this shit is going to be funny. We're going to find out. And that's kind of like, I guess that's our direction of like documentary is just like, well, let's set up a scenario that whether it wins or loses is going to be entertaining, and I'm 100% like the cannonball in all of these situations.
Nice. Well, it sounds like you got a super action-packed future. It's just because you're retiring from battle rap doesn't mean you're retiring from shit, really. So,
and my best battle, I think ever, comes out on December 14th, and that'll be great. I'm excited. I'm really excited to see it all cut together.
Nice.
Well, we're excited for you, dude. Congrats on everything.
Yep.
I think that you're a super, super dope individual. I think a lot of people really dig what you're doing, us included, and we just really appreciate everything you do. And thanks for fucking coming on and bullshitting with us. It's been dope.
Yeah.
Like I said, bro, if there's one thing I could do in this world, it's bullshit.
Yeah,
Yep. I know. And we definitely, I told you it would be no longer than 30 minutes, and we've definitely been talking longer than that. So sorry about keeping you.
Bruh.
But
I could talk about myself all day.
So before we get out of here, we all know that today is December 15th. We know that. The listener knows that.
Yeah.
So this weekend you have a show at the Ritz in San Jose on the 19th. And,
Actually, we will have just filmed the live podcast, or the podcast in front of the live studio audience, on December 11th. So
nice.
That should be out on YouTube. And then, like I just said, my battle versus DNA drops via King of the Dot on December 14th.
Yeah.
And then I'm at the Ritz on the 19th in San Jose doing a show with the Whiskey Avengers, which is a crew that I came up with in San Jose. Really talented musicians. They jam the fuck out, and we always do like a crazy full band jam sesh at the end. So It should be extra entertaining.
Yeah, man. Sounds like it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Well, you guys have a wonderful afternoon. And,
most definitely.
I'm gonna take me a weed nap.
Hell yeah.
All right, man. Well, thanks again for joining us, and take care of yourself.
All right, cool, man. Like,
Peace. All right. Well, boom. We took a lot more time of his than I said that I was going to. I signed a contract saying that it would be no longer than 30 minutes, and he said that it was okay. But as soon as we hung up the phone just now, I'm seeing that I'm getting text messages from his lawyers, and I'm sure he'll talk to him and work it all out. He's a good guy. That was dope,
because
though.
we're such professionals. Yeah. Imagine that. Imagine us, fucking stoners. You know what I'm saying? Can't stick to anything, but whatever. It was dope. He's fucking awesome. I'm definitely going to be checking out the podcast now. I'm definitely going to be looking for the Zay battles and shit. You know what I'm saying? I think dude's super smart and very talented, and he's got a long way to go still. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, like all the time and stuff he's done in the battle leagues and everything through the years, and then to get where he's at, and seems like fuck, really now shit's really just starting from a boss perspective, you know what I'm saying? Because now he's like owning shit and like doing shit on his own and like turning his views and everything to benefit his business, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's super smart.
It reminds me of like of like what Recognize did. How Recognize came up in the battle scene, won a big battle, got a giant, cash prize and a record deal that didn't work out, and then he battled for a little bit longer, and then one day he just stopped battling and started focusing on music, and now he's the lead singer of Mayday, signed to Strange Music and making all kinds of money. Still doesn't have a Strange chain, I don't think. That's a thing that they are always complaining about. But like, I think that it's going to be a good move for him, and I think that he has a lot more to offer as an artist than just battle raps, and it's going to be cool to see his comedy career like grow. Yeah,
that's so sick. That gives that's a lot of inspiration to a lot of people, you know what I mean? Like, people are always looking for a new outlet, you know what I'm saying, other than the one that they're already doing. You got to have your hand in multiple cups, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be like, you got to be kind of spread out, so you're going to be good no matter what. And comedy's awesome, especially after, like you said, like after doing the podcast, it gives you like a lot of ideas, like options, things that you could do. And fuck, comedy takes a lot of guts to do that shit.
And it's like he has the podcast and he has the battle rap, which is pretty much a form of comedy, coming up with punchlines and shit. So I think that it's almost like how ninjas tie bricks to their feet and then they'll run and then they take the bricks off and then their feet are super light. You know what I mean? And that's how they have like the little ninja toes and shit. So I think that what it is that he did this super complex battle rap where your punchlines have to be like, woven a certain way, and the syllables have to bounce, and everything has to be like a certain kind of clever. And then now just going to jokes, which are hard in their own right, but in a way, it's almost like simpler than doing a complex joke in a battle rap. It's just a joke now. He's not tied down to all of these different things, so he can say whatever he wants. And I'm interested to see where it goes. Also,
I think that he's gonna have a lot of ammo because comedy really comes from experience. Comedy comes from like things that you personally been through or seen happen. So that's where you get your material from. You know what I mean? And him being a battle rapper, he's gonna have so many crazy experiences. You know what I mean? Live, in your face, fucking embarrassing or whatever type of experiences. You know what I mean? And that's all gonna be great ammo or like fuel for fucking punchlines and jokes and shit or whatever he's going to create. So I think that, it's really a smart transition. Super dope.
Yeah, and what a lot of people don't realize, and myself included until about halfway through the interview, is that the battle that he did with DNA that was released yesterday, I believe, that was his last battle. Like, he was retiring from battles, and that was it. The last one, he wanted to go out with a bang, and we unknowingly in a high, stupor, got the first interview after Dirtbag Dan retired. So Dirtbag Dan is like a legendary battle rapper right now, retired. We got the first interview, and that's what we do for you because we love you guys and we want to bring you cutting edge shit, So I'm trying to get props to us so that you know that we did this for you and that it took a lot of work and that we had to pay a lot of money to get this interview with him. We are the first place to interview him, all right? Not Hot New Hip Hop, not, Hip Hop DX, none of that. It was us. So you're welcome. And if you'd like to donate to us to help with the expenses, that would be greatly appreciated. There was something else I wanted to say. I lost it, but it's he was a good dude. It was nice to chop it up with him. It was a lot easier than I expected. Like for some reason going into it, I was like, this guy has his own podcast, so he's used to like a certain way of doing it. And I didn't know if we were going to jive right, but it turns out that his podcast is like our podcast. So we've been unknowingly just doing the same shit, just in different parts of California. And I think it's dope.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be looking at the comedy clubs and shit. And if he comes out to LA, I'm going to go check him out.
Yep.
Y'all should too. Look up everything, find him online. Everybody's info is always online. It's called Google, people.
And you know what else, Dirtbag Dan, if you're listening, we live in California, so we can come and be on your podcast if you're interested in something like that. I am not a avid, battle rap enthusiast. I have a friend that is, a guy that I work with that listens to Dirtbag Dan's podcast. When I told him that we interviewed him, he was like, dude, I'll fucking watch every episode of his podcast. That's crazy. I've seen him do this.
Sick.
He was at the DNA battle live. So he already knows all this shit. And fucking, I'll bring him. So we'll bring him, and he could, talk about all the battle stuff, and then we'll just smoke weed in the corner.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great add-on. So, it's the 12 days of Christmas are upon us. So those have been happening. I hope everyone's enjoying those. We're at the time that I'm recording this, we haven't started them yet, but I think they're going good.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you really don't. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're going great, that the plays are off the hook. You guys are loving them. Thank you for all the shares and the comments and for being interactive. You are the best listeners that we could ever ask for.
Applause.
All right, that's it. We're out of here.
Peace, bitches.
The Natural Habitat Podcast.